This is a really interesting, strange, and unusual article out of the New York Post. They claim it's weird but true. And this is what it's like to have scary demon face syndrome, a rare condition that makes everyone look satanic, by Ben Cost. And this was published on March 22nd, which is 322, and that is the skull and bones number. So much for See No Evil. I'm just going to read through this article, say anything that comes to mind. I don't really know exactly how I feel about this as of yet. I know that people really can get strange. There are some strange and very rare neurological conditions that affect the way that people see faces. Or you'll hear cases of people who they become convinced that their wife or people in their family are imposters, and just like their brain doesn't register them as being the same person, even though their face is still the same. They're like, you're not my wife, you're an imposter, like in her skin or something. I've heard of that type of thing, and the mind does have strange things to do with human faces, or is a huge part of the human mind, and how our brain has to parse all of the visual information, and weird things happen with faces. What is it? Whatever, where you see faces and things that aren't even faces. So it really is an optical thing for people to have strange things happen with faces. So part of me believes that this could be true, and this article is just giving a fake version of it. Other things that are real conditions is when people lose the ability to recognize people by their faces. That's a real thing. Okay, perceiving malevolent-looking entities might seem like a horror trope. Like in the movie They Live with the pair of glasses. However, Tennessee's Victor Sharaw like a charade, perhaps? Victor Sharaw sees monsters everywhere due to an ultra-rare condition called demon face syndrome that causes everyone to look like they have an evil smile, per a groundbreaking study published in The Lancet. You can't imagine how scary it was. So a lot of these words that they're using and phrases makes me think that this particular instance is a hoax of a real-ish phenomenon. People can have conditions that affect the way that they see people. I just don't believe this particular instance, this Victor Sharaw, and I'm sure there's some coding going on in this article. We saw it published on March 22nd, which is very suspicious. But talking about things like you can't imagine or things like that also make me think that it's just fabricated, at least this specific instance. But what's the motive behind this? The timing of this article and just the strangeness. Like, are people going to start seeing masks fall off of reptilian type creatures that are like, I don't talk about reptilian stuff, but I do believe in like serpent seed, like a satanic bloodline, possibly. And I don't know. People do use glamour magic to change the way that people literally see them differently because of the glamour magic. So I'm open to the idea of people that look very bizarre in reality, but they've been using some sort of magic or technology to mask the way that they look. I'm open to that, but I don't talk about lizard overlords. But I think that whole thing, the whole idea of reptilians behind the scenes, I think that has to do with serpent seed and like a bloodline of Satan, or a satanic bloodline. I do believe in those ideas. So here we go. A visual representation of what Sharaw sees when he looks at people. The number 7 here is very suspicious on all of the images. This is almost, to me, this seems like they're making fun of something that could become very real in the future. And this just seems like a little too cartoony to me. The truck driver reportedly first realized something was awry in 2020. Interesting, because 2020 is like a vision thing. You think of 2020 as people having perfect vision, so he's beginning to have this vision issue in a year that has to do with vision. After he noticed a disfigured looking man in his apartment who turned out to be his roommate. See, and this little factoid doesn't quite make sense because later he goes on and says that he always recognizes the people, they just look distorted. So shouldn't he have recognized that it was his roommate, but it was just distorted? But then people would just say, oh, it was the first instance, so he wasn't used to it yet. But I see an inconsistency in the story there. It should have said he noticed his roommate was looking bizarre or looking strange. Then he ventured outside and realized that everyone looked warped. Yeah, that doesn't sound believable to me. My first thought was I woke up in a demon world, explained, and that also doesn't, would that really be your first thought? Oh, I've woken up in a demon world. I don't know. This sounds like fiction to me, this particular instance. But again, what's the agenda here? Or I don't know. This is a weird article. It was people were talking about it a lot on 4chan. So maybe some of you have seen this before. He added, I was really freaking out at that point. I was going to have myself committed. Another reason I think that this article is a fabrication is they kind of gave this guy the lines. Do you see how the part of his vision, allegedly, is that everybody got these aggressive lines on the cheeks? And he literally has those lines in this picture. So they would love to do that. And he has a weird creepiness to him. Kind of looks like the creatures that he says that he's looking. And they would love to do that. I say they always like to get meta. He has a wonky eye, too, going on. One of the eyes is bigger, bugged out than the other one. You can't imagine how scary it was, said Victor Shara, 59, while describing his affliction. The Tennessean suffers from let me try this. Prosopometamorphosia, or PMO, a bizarre affliction that visually distorts faces every time the sufferer looks at a person. Now, I do believe in that. I believe that people can get mental conditions where they don't see people's faces correctly and everybody's face gets whacked out. I believe that. But this one is very particular in that it makes them look satanic. SWNS reported. And to go back to the committed thing, this type of thing can happen with transvestigation. People can realize, like, the people on TV look like transgenders, but they'll be gaslit and told that, yeah, they're just seeing things. I've heard of somebody, just a random comment once that ringed so true, that somebody in a mental institution was going on and on about how they're all transgenders, and they got committed. And I mean, they could have had other mental problems too, but some people might actually just be seeing reality. And yeah, it's a jungle out there. Shara described his symptoms of this exceedingly rare condition. Oh wait, I skipped a paragraph. Visions vary depending on the person, specifically regarding eye shape, size, color, and position of facial features, and PMO can last for days, weeks, or even years. Shara described his symptoms of this exceedingly rare condition, of which only 75 cases have been recorded, in the aforementioned study, which was conducted by researchers at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. We get some more cool images. Through the process, we were able to visualize the patient's real-time perception. And this seemed like a bunch of BS, how they described this stuff. Let's see if I got the screen caps of it. Certain people feel like they're seeing monsters everywhere. I mean, to go back to the transvestigation thing, it is a little scary when the glamour magic fades and you see them for what they are. It's a little frightening. He stated that the distortions, severely stretched features of the face with deep grooves on the forehead, cheeks, and chin, were present on every person's face he encountered, but he reported no distortions when looking at objects, such as houses or cars. Interesting to specifically mention those two things. I think this article is probably full of little tidbits of symbolism and jokes and number coding. The patient said that even though faces were distorted, he was still able to recognize who they were. See, so that kind of goes against, he should have recognized, in the very beginning, he should have said that his roommate had distorted features, not, I don't even recognize this person. But people will make excuses. People always make excuses when there's inconsistencies in their stories. They always give the benefit of the doubt to them, to the authority figure, always gets the benefit of the doubt in non-skeptics' minds. The endless supply of giving them the benefit of the doubt. Interestingly, the trucker didn't see the creepy countenances. That's a CC, creepy countenances, CC 33, when viewing facial representations on screen or paper. And so that also doesn't make sense to me, because the human mind is really good at seeing faces where there aren't even faces. So why would an image of a face not get the distortions, but people in real life? That seems unbelievable to me. I believe that the distortions would probably happen on paper too, because that's how they're claiming, like, because you could get into it. How could you figure out what they looked like? Okay, I'm just going to get finished up. And unlike some symptoms of schizophrenia or other psychological disorders, the goblin-like distortions weren't accompanied by delusional beliefs about the identities of the people he encountered. Kind of talked about that at the beginning. There are some weird facial recognition conditions where they come along with those weird delusions, like you'll believe that your family members are imposters, such as family and friends. Okay. Thankfully, for the first time ever, researchers were able to create photorealistic... See, I think this is all BS. They took a photo of a person's face and then showed it to the patient on a screen while he looked at the real person's face. I'm not buying it. Only 75 cases of PMO. Very rare, but maybe this article's coming out because this sort of thing's going to become more commonplace. I don't know. Like a cutting-edge courtroom sketch artist. In other words, they were putting a demon face to a name. That's a scary sounding sentence. I think I've mostly said everything that I want to say about this. I just wanted to talk about this article because I think it's strange. Strange article. Another picture. These pictures are hilarious, though. They're really goofy. They're hoping to raise awareness about the demon face disorder. It just kind of goes along with the whole, we're in the end. They're talking about people being diagnosed with schizophrenia who may have some sort of condition like this. Here they talk about a head injury at 43 or carbon monoxide poisoning 4 months before the symptoms started. A lot of strange things going on in this particular case. And a legion. Oh, legion. We know about that from the Bible. Legion is a name that a group of demons gave in Old Testament times. Jesus casted out legion into the swine. So, man, this article is jam-packed. Like I said earlier, it's probably full of symbolism, coding. Legion is very specific here. There is a reason they had to talk about legion here to talk more about the demon. That's purposeful. I don't think that he really has a tumor. I think that this is just a completely fabricated story. And yeah, seeing the word legion here at the end really seals the deal. What are the chances that legion ends up coming in this article about demonic people? 3 years on, so got some 3, still battling these visual demons, but has gotten used to the condition and hopes it will just go away on its own. Filed under 32224. There's probably quite a few strange happenings that happened on 322, or strange articles like this that were published on 322. It's a big number. Okay, finishing up. Real life people, you don't need a condition to see demons. You don't need some weird visual abnormality in your brain to see demons. Kenneth Copeland clearly is demonically possessed, and you can see it in the eyes so easily when somebody has demons in them. You can literally see it in their eyes when they have demons. This one is another one that has total demonic look in the eyes. This Eckhart Tolle creature, total demonic eyes. That is a demonic eyes right there. Sick, demonic, gross eyes. You don't get that close to Oprah without having a few demons in you. So there's multiple scripture about the eyes and how the eyes are the window to the soul. And I'm just going to read... Oh, I don't have it. Well, I'll read this one then. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. And same for the opposite for darkness. If you have darkness within you, you can see it in the eyes. And I think that those examples, Kenneth Copeland is anybody should be able to see that. That guy is infested with demons. And again, you don't need a strange demon face condition to see that. And I think Eckhart Tolle too is another one you can really tell has the demonic eyes. So leave a comment of some celebrity infested with demons, and you can just see it in their eyes. Hope you enjoyed this video. God bless everyone. Here, I just have to read the second verse, verse 23, because the part about evil eyes, it just shows you that when somebody is evil, you really can see it in their eyes. So Matthew chapter 6, verse 23, but if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? You really can see it in people's eyes when they're an evil person. And I mean, part of this reminds me of, there's a Roald Dahl poem about how even people that don't look the nicest, that they're not the most beautiful people, if they're good, they have a beauty to them. They have a beauty that comes through if they have a good inside. Even if their appearance might not be the most traditionally attractive, if somebody has good in them, it radiates through them. And in the same opposite way, you know, all the people out there that you can tell they put so much effort in the way that they look, but they just ooze this nastiness to them, even if they look done up. And yeah, that's the real end of this video. God bless everyone.